Hello, friends, and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Doing Life Together, episode 27. It's Sonya Eckel, your host. Good to see you all. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for your patience with me taking 2 weeks off. And I will also not be on next week. Okay. So thank you, though, for popping on tonight. It's good to see you guys. Throw a comment in. How would you finish this sentence? All right. So put in the comments, friends don't let friends. Okay. How would you finish that? Friends don't let friends drink and drive. Friends don't let friends. And if you're catching the replay, put hashtag replay. Put what you would say. What do friends not let friends do? All right. So last episode 26, I think, we talked about eyelashes. And so that was fun. Kind of a light topic compared to some of the ones we've covered. And in the process, I found myself saying that mascara, I kind of knew it wasn't healthy, but I kind of wasn't really willing to do the deep dive because I was like, well, I'm going to wear it anyway. Right? I've worn it since I was 13 or whatever. And so I'm probably not going to stop wearing it. So I'm just going to not like really go too deep down that hole. And that's pretty innocent. Like mascara, I have researched it. It isn't, super duper healthy or whatever. Sure. But after I said that comment, and it was after that episode, it just hit me. All right, you guys, what are we sticking our head in the sand on? What are we don't want to even look it up. We don't want to do the deep dive because we're afraid of what it would mean if we actually found out something wasn't what we thought it was, or it was as bad as we thought it was. And then we would actually have to make a decision. And then we would actually have to pivot and we would actually have to change. Does this resonate with you guys? Is there anything in your life that you, if you were being honest, oftentimes these are also the areas we're not totally honest. We're just like, la, 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 right? Is there an area of your life that you're sticking your head in the sand? The reason I ask is because there have been areas of my life where I've done that. I could probably give you a few examples, actually. And I'm so grateful for the voices, the friends who, through gentle nudges, didn't let me live there. All right. So I'll give you an example. I grew up, my mom loved everything to smell really good. Like that was kind of her thing. Candles and things plugged into the walls. And I mean, we grew up on a farm, so I'm guessing she's probably like making sure it doesn't smell like a farmhouse or something too. But it also translated to our laundry. And so I grew up, there was usually the orange bottle and then the blue bottle, but not the other blue bottle. Like if you got the wrong blue bottle, it didn't smell the same. So I was very, we liked one brand over the other. And then you have the box of sheets, right? Is anyone tracking with me? You've got your laundry soap, your fabric softener, and your dryer sheets. And so that's what we wash clothes with. And so our clothes had a certain smell to them based on the products that we consistently used as a family. And so fast forward, Willie and I got married, started having babies. I'm working as a physical therapist. And then I began teaching natural childbirth classes because that's a whole nother head in the sand story. Actually, I'm going to tell that one too. I think I've told it before, but it's worth repeating. Hey, good to see you. All right. So anyway, I am reading food labels. I'm trying to make my own baby food. I'm wearing my babies. I'm like doing so much research on all the things, trying to create a safer, healthier home for our growing family. And I was even teaching people back then, like when I was teaching childbirth classes, my big thing to my clients who would take it is do your research. Do not put your head in the sand on this stuff. Like your research, your decisions are going to impact your babies. Like this is a moment not to put your head in the sand. So I was basically preaching that. And yet one of my dear friends came over and was sitting in my kitchen. This is the way I remember it anyway. And our laundry room was off the kitchen. And as we're talking about life, and she too was on a natural health journey, she looked in my laundry room and she said, "You use that stuff?" And I was so oblivious. I mean, my head was so far in the sand that although I was reading all the labels, I didn't want to know that that wasn't good. So certainly I was not deep diving it, right? It smelled good. It smelled the way laundry's supposed to smell. And so she's like, "You use that stuff?" And I go, "What?" Like, I mean, it just took me kind of out of, and she's like, "I'm just surprised you use that stuff." And I looked and I was like, "Oh." She goes, "Have you ever researched it?" Now, mind you, I met her she took my childbirth class. So she had heard, she knew where I stood. Do your research. Don't put your head in the sand. And so she was, I think, genuinely shocked that that was the laundry stuff. Do you ever find that where most of your life lines up, but then this one piece that you're like, "No, la, 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 we're not going to talk about that. We're going to bubble wrap that one up because that's just what that is." And it doesn't actually align with the rest of your life. Have you ever discovered that? I don't know. So there's certain things that we don't like to talk about, right? We don't want to have to deep dive it because sometimes we don't know what we would do if it turned out not to be a good thing. So in fear of that outcome, we're just like, la, 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 I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to, what is it, the bird? Is it ostriches? Who puts their head in the sand? I don't even know where that saying comes from. I think I should know. But anyway, so what is your head in the sand moment? Like, I didn't want to research mascara because I didn't want to stop wearing it, So is that a good reason? I mean, it's something you wear on your body every single day. Like it might be, it's near your eyes, which are super important. Maybe it's important. I didn't want to research my laundry soap, but then because a friend challenged me, I did. I went and Googled toxicity of fabric softener is where I started. I'll just tell you this. My head was out of the sand and I never used it another day in my life after I did the research, but I didn't want to do the research because it was life as I knew it. And do you know that our olfactory scent is the strongest memory scent? I don't know about y'all, but if I smell like a cologne or a perfume that goes back to like my high school days, boom, I'm back. Like it's the fastest way to transport me back in memory to a certain time. And that I think they actually have shown that the sense of smell is one of our strongest memory sense. And so if you have some resistance to changing things that have a certain scent or not wanting to know if they're good or bad for you, join the club. It's super powerful. Companies learn that. Like that's why they use them, right? So anyway, fun fact, by the way. Scents are a whole rabbit hole that you should research. Don't put your head in the sand on this. Watch the documentary Stink. It's so fascinating what all can be put under the label fragrance. And anyway, yeah, might be worth your time. So putting your head in the sand on stuff that you don't know how to deal with it or you don't want to deal with it. I'd love to hear in the comments. Hey, Natalie. So Natalie's just talking about weight gain and not wanting to deal with it. Like, I don't want to do what I know I have to do to flip that scale. So I will just put my head in the sand on this one. Yeah, right? Exactly. So head in the sand. I think many of you know my story from my religious background. And it was all I knew. I mean, we were in a sect off of Christianity. I don't know exactly what to call it. And I still have many, many dear friends and loved ones who are there. But I'll just be honest. I mean, my head was full out in the sand because I didn't know what life would look like outside of it. And so there was a period I didn't want to know. I didn't want to do any research. I didn't want to. So what are we putting our head in the sand on? Like I could just go on and on. When I was raising my babies, there are some things that are just hard, cold facts. Like this is how you do it. And I wanted to put my head in the sand. I wanted to just be a good little patient and show up with my newborn baby and say, okay, yep. But thankfully, I had a friend who called me out on it and she didn't let me. Friends don't let friends live with their head in the sand on important issues. I think it's just getting more powerful in my being. Like, come on, y'all. I love you guys. I love God's creation. I love people. I love the power that's in you to change the world, honestly, if you so want to, but certainly to live an incredible life and bless a lot of people. If I truly love you, do I just play small and not talk about the tough stuff and just kind of, but we're not going to talk about that? Or or do I do what others have done for me that changed my life for the better? And maybe I'll be the friend that day who calls you out on your laundry soap, who calls you out on fabric softener, who calls you out on status quo. Here's another one. Okay. I worked in the medical system, right? So I'm surrounded by medicine, all things medicine. I'm taught medicine. That's all I thought. And so most of my friends, when we were expecting our first baby, were like, I mean, literally, no joke. This was the advice. Sonya, get the epidural as soon as possible because if you wait too long, you can't get it. Okay, that was the advice. I was a little freaked out about how I was going to get this little being out of my body, right? Like this is not something I hadn't done this before. And so it would have been very easy and probably a little aligned with my go with the flow personality to go, okay, I guess that's what we do. I guess we get the epidural. But, and I've given my cousin Leanne a shout out before on this topic because Leanne was relentless. She kept telling my sister, like, tell Sonya to look into these natural childbirth classes. Tell her to look into it. Tell her to look into it. And she didn't just say it once. It was more than once. I don't know how many, and finally, I did the extra work. It did cause me extra work because it wasn't just the hospital childbirth classes that I could show up for, one day and then know how to push a baby out. Like this was a commitment. And, but really because she was so enrolling, she was so passionate that she had courage to keep saying it. So Leanne, thank you if you happen to be watching this, because it changed my life course. Like it absolutely had massive impact on my life because I finally did that. I found a local teacher. Willie and I went and took the classes and we were able to have all 4 boys naturally without medication. And that's really great. But it's more than that because even beyond that, which was really fabulous. And I did the deep dive and goodness, I could talk to you childbirth all day. I love childbirth and it's a big thing, right? Like cesarean rates are sky high, number of reasons, whatever. But it's not even about childbirth because what happened in that process was I took ownership. I didn't just say, okay, doctor, you tell me what to do. I will be a good patient. Here I am, it showed me that I can step out. I can trust me. I can trust my intuition as a mama. I can trust my brain to research things and see that spiral that so often happens in childbirth and go, okay, I don't really want this. So I'm going to, So it built an incredible parenting trust in my soul, basically, by going against the grain. But it was actually uphill because I think we've come a long way. I think now in 2024, natural birth is actually getting to be far more common again, which is so good, in my humble opinion. I have no opinions, y'all, but no, I do. So that's great. I love that. But back then, you had to fight for it. Like it was very much against the grain, so much so that when I was having Jake, the firstborn, my mom was there. What a special thing. She was at the birth of all 4 boys. I'm so grateful for all the time together. Oh, that's another topic. You guys, if you have loved ones, oh man, just call them and love on them. Like you just aren't promised another day. Just don't wait. If something's not right, make it right. Like seriously, that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, so I'm having Jake and without medication. And I look up and there's all these medical professionals like standing there. And I was thinking, what's going on? Well, it turns out that they were coming in to see what a natural birth without any medication looks like. So it was going against the grain back then. I mean, Jake's now 21, and so that's been 2 decades, and I don't think it looks like that so much anymore. I hope. But anyway, so I am just coming here as a good friend who loves you, whether I've met you in person or not. I literally actually I just care so deeply for you. Like, I don't know your story yet. I don't know everyone's story, but I know you have a story and I know you have a calling. And I just want to be here to say, don't play small. If there's something that when I said, are you sticking your head in the sand on something? Is it time to pull your head out, find people who know more about that, find people who've gotten to the other side of whatever the thing is. If it's weight loss, find somebody who's on the other side, ask them how they did it, how they stayed inspired, like lean in. And the other thing about humans is we are made to do life together. And yet here we are all independent and, afraid to ask for help. Like, no, let's do it together. So, all right. Anyway, that's my thing. Friends don't let friends play with their head in the sand. Come on, let's do this. It will make the world a better place when we get honest, we get curious, and then we're not afraid to lean in, to do the work, to come out on the other side. Because what I've learned is the hard stuff where I had to pull my head out of the sand and do something different, go against the flow a little bit. Some of those things have had the biggest, most life-changing rewards. So I just want to speak that out over you all, giving you courage. I think we can gain courage from each other, from each other's experiences. So anyway, reach out, let me know what it is that you've had your head in the sand on and what you are stepping out in courage to actually take it out, look it in the face, and be real about it. I would love to hear. So, all right. Thank you, my friends. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you for joining me.